In anybody's life, it's going to be hard. In my particular life, it was my disability. I think that it was a miracle that I became an orthopedic surgeon. There were times when I wanted to quit and give up. I think I would just go back and tell myself, just keep going. It's just not an easy road. Whatever road you pick, it's not going to be easy.
My guest this morning is somebody that I first met through the newspaper. I opened the Los Angeles Times and saw a picture of a tiny doctor propped on crutches performing orthopedic surgery, and I read the story, and I have to tell you, a couple of tears rolled down my cheeks. Dr. Serena Young, we are so proud of you. The shortest of the three doctors is Dr. Young. Welcome. Beauty.
My name is Serena Young, and I'm a polio survivor.
Grateful to meet you. Never met you before. You are today the assistant orthopedic surgeon at Rancho Los Amigos. Is that true?
On the Adult Brain Injury Service.
And Adult Brain Injury Service. Wow. My. You were born where?
I was born in Taipei, Taiwan.
Your ethnic origin is?
Chinese.
Chinese?
I even remember back the morning I woke up. I was only 2 years old. I woke up with a really high fever. I remember my mother calling me to come down for breakfast, and I literally could not move. And so my mom kept calling me, and then finally she comes up because she thought I was playing around. The next thing I remember, I was in a hospital. My mom was praying over me. She promised God that she would raise me up in His ways.
The most difficult time in my life was in Taiwan when I found out my daughter had polio. Every day she couldn't even get up. She had to lay in bed paralyzed from the neck down. Serena was 2 years old. For a whole year she could not get up or walk. She had to stay in bed. So we went to Western doctors and Chinese doctors. No one could cure her. We finally took her to acupuncture. After 8 treatments, she could move her upper body.
So my dad, who worked for the American Embassy, he petitioned the American government to see if he could send me over here for the medical treatment. They granted our whole family to come over here. When we first arrived, we were in East LA. We all came with Chinese names, like my brother's name was Chin Hao Young, and my middle brother's, it was Chin Fu Young, and I was Li Yen Young.
Growing up in East LA was much tougher than now because there was a lot of gangs. If you were not part of the gang, especially for my brother and I, you're gonna be picked on. So it was hard for us to grow up, but my sister always had a positive side about her.
My brothers had no mercy on me because I was the youngest sister. I was the only girl, and so they would always be playing tricks on me, and I was easy to pick on. I think it prepared me for orthopedic residency because they were all men.
I think I decided to go into orthopedic surgery at a really, really early age, probably in high school when I decided. I knew that just from all the surgeries and having to keep all the doctor's appointments and going through physical therapy, when I was a child, I became really interested in the medical field, and especially what it had done for me.
Because I was really interested in medicine and because of what it had done for me, one summer during high school, I volunteered at Orthopedic Hospital, and I worked with handicapped children. And at first, their deformed bodies really bothered me. And I went home and I couldn't figure out why it bothered me so. But I finally realized the reason why it bothered me was because I couldn't accept my own physical deformity. So that caused me to start searching. I started wondering if there was even really a God, and how could this, why didn't any of this make sense?
What do you think fascinates you the most about the human body?
The potential to heal itself. That's really amazing how God created us. As doctors, we're there, we can help put things together, but it's really up to the human body to heal it. When I got to medical school, I remember the first day they went around the room saying, well, what, it was kind of an introduction, what specialty do you want? And then when they came to me, I said orthopedic surgeon. And I didn't realize, but a lot of people laughed. I was such a minority in every way. I don't know which was worse. Being a woman, being disabled, or being Asian. It was really tough. It was grueling, actually, because of the number of hours that you had to study, and then the rotations. I did everything on the crutches, but I never really complained. I mean, I knew that this is what I wanted to do.
I always thought that she was very courageous to, do an orthopedic surgeon type of work. Most guys couldn't even do that.
It was interesting because my advisor's wife was an orthopedic surgeon. When I rotated on orthopedics, she told me that I couldn't do orthopedics. She goes, this is unrealistic, you can't do this. I don't think you should be here. And I'm just thinking, wow, why is another woman telling me this? You would think that she would be really supportive. But she said that I wouldn't be able to carry my own baby if I had one. So how can you do orthopedics?
Oh, wow.
Why you wind it up?
You know what? This is made in Italy.
It is?
Yeah, it made it in Italy.
Well, you just came back from Rome, right?
I had 2 little children, and I was taking call, and I had just started my practice, and then I went through a divorce, and so I was a single mom when my children were ages 3 and 6. During that time period where I was a single mother, I had to rely on caregivers for my kids. Because I was on call all the time and I was working late hours, I had like 3 caregivers, 24/7. And I always felt bad because, I was never there to watch their games when they had their games, or, the only time I could help them with their homework was, if I got home early enough. It was just really hard. I always felt kind of guilty the whole time.
Going to the hospital and going to the doctor's appointment, my mom she was always a serious one. She would always sit there and say, I don't know how you're going to manage in this world. This is like when I was 5 years old. She goes, I don't know how you're going to manage in this world being on crutches. She goes, all I know is that whatever it is that you do, you can't let people push you around in this world. You have to do something where you're in a position where they can't push you around. She basically said, you probably won't get married, you probably won't have a family, so you have to choose a career where you can be self-sufficient. And, she was talking in very general terms, but when you're 5 years old and your mother's talking to you like that, it's really impressionable.
children to work.
I know.
No more housework.
No more housework.
No more housework.
I can write you a note for that.
Oh.
No more housework.
Okay. Okay. So let me grab this. Okay. So you can go. I'll just go ahead and put it in for surgery. Okay.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Most of my interactions with patients and their willingness to accept me as their physician has been really surprising. I'm grateful for the opportunity to be able to be part of their care. That's it. You okay?
Yeah.
I know. So it takes about 3 to 5 days for that cortisone to kick in. You might be a little sore tonight. When you walk into the examining room and it's a brand new patient and they're not aware that they're going to see a doctor in a wheelchair. Some of them will laugh and go, God, what happened to you? And then I'll kind of tell them what happened to me. Some of them will go, oh, I'm sorry to hear that. And I would say, oh, no, don't be sorry. This is why I'm in the field. It actually creates a bridge between the patient and I, the disability, that doesn't really separate us. It allows them to hurt, I think. And it allows them to present with a disability because I would understand it. Patient is Betsabi Sosa, birthday 1/25/1966, requesting physicians Bernard Jorge, MD, history of present illness, a 55-year-old right-hand dominant woman. First, I always tell my patients I'm going to do the best for you. I always tell my patients that because that is the truth. I'm going to do my best for them. Sometimes you didn't do as great a job as you thought you did. You know, when you have a follow-up x-ray, maybe the plate or screw could fail. Those kind of things are, of course, always humbling and very disappointing. It goes through your mind, you know you're going to fix it the standard way, but does it need something more to enhance the healing?
And it was that summer.
Now, so you made your commitment. You're going to turn your scars into stars. You've heard that before. Mm-hmm. And did you get encouragement? Did everybody say, oh, you'll make a great doctor, this is wonderful? Or?
No, I was told that I had to be out of my mind to even consider the thought. But I don't think that when I applied to medical school and when I applied to orthopedic surgery, I never really realized what it would take. But there were times when people really discouraged me. But I just had a real conviction in my heart. I really felt that this was my calling, that God had given me this desire. God used something like a tragedy, or what people would consider a tragedy in my life, and made something really good out of it, made something really meaningful for me.
You know, all the suffering and all the prejudice and everything that I went through as a patient with polio and as a patient in orthopedic surgery wouldn't have had the same meaning if I went into any other field. And I think the bottom line was I was trying to find meaning as to why I went through what I did. And orthopedic surgery gives me that meaning.
I think that I reached the goals that I wanted to reach, the things that I've dreamed about. Becoming an orthopedic surgeon so I can give back to the society what they gave to me. I think I'm doing that every day. I would always have to work a little bit harder, a little bit longer, always having to prove myself over and over again. That always follows me. That's just part of it, part of being different.
In your own words, how would you define perseverance?
To keep pressing ahead and don't look behind. To keep believing in what you want and believe and just don't give up.